Welcome to 9.4, learning about tangent. Tangent is something about direction. So the tangent of an angle tells you, number one, which corner of your triangle you're starting from. So tangent means the length of the opposite angle. So opposite of A is going to be this leg. So opposite leg of angle A. Okay, and then it says divided by the length of the leg adjacent to angle A. The length of this leg adjacent means attached. Now remember, hypotenuse is the longest side. It is not considered a leg. Legs make up the 90-degree angle. So the opposite leg is going to be BC from angle A. The adjacent leg is not the hypotenuse. It has to be AC, the attached leg. Think of adjacent as attached. Okay, so if I were to actually say tangent of angle B, so the tangent of angle B, then the opposite leg, opposite over adjacent is how we say tangent. The opposite leg would be AC. And the adjacent leg, or attached leg, would be AB or BA. And then we have angle of elevation. That means like elevator. You usually go up in an elevator. So angle of elevation, it would be the angle from horizontal going up to the top of something, like a building. Okay? All right, so find the tangents of the acute angles in the right triangle. So we have two acute angles, R and S. So the tangent of R, again, is the opposite over adjacent. The opposite leg to R is 45. The adjacent leg or attached leg is 28. Remember, 53 is the hypotenuse. We're not using the hypotenuse. One thing to think about from here on out is what we call SOHCAHTOA. TOA is tangent. The O is the opposite leg, and the A is adjacent leg. And you'll hear this a lot as you progress through math. SOHCAHTOA. I'll teach you sine and cosine at another time. All right, so that's the tangent of R. And the tangent of S, again, is the opposite leg. We'll do this one in blue. Opposite S, opposite leg is 28, and the adjacent leg is 45. And then use your calculator, take 45, divide by 28, and that is approximately 1.6. We want it, right, each answer as a fraction and as a decimal, all right? So it doesn't say what to go. Let's go out 4 places, please. 1.6071. Go out 4 places. And then the tangent of S, 28 divided by 45, is going to be 0.6222 repeating. All right, let's do number 2. So D and E are, not E, D and F, are your acute angles. E is the right angle, so that doesn't count as acute. So the tangent of D is the opposite leg, 7, over the adjacent leg. Remember leg, not hypotenuse. 25 is your hypotenuse. 24, so 7 divided by 24 is approximately 0.2916 repeating. 0.2917. Now tangent of F. So let me go ahead and erase that, make it easier to see. Tangent of F is the opposite leg. Remember, we're not using the hypotenuse. 24 over the adjacent leg, the attached leg, 7. So 24 divided by 7 is going to be approximately 3.4286. Okay, let's go a little bit faster. Let's just cross out the hypotenuse for now. We don't need the hypotenuse on any of these, so that helps us. Now we'll use angle G. The tangent of G, let's go a little bit faster, is the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. So 2. The tangent of H is the opposite leg, 1 over the adjacent leg, 2. 0.5. Okay, here, J and K. Tangent of J, opposite leg, 5 over the attached leg, 3. So that's approximately 1.6667. Okay, and now the tangent of K is the opposite leg over the adjacent leg, and that is 0.6. All right, find the value of X. So we're going to use this angle, because that's where we're at, tangent of 41 degrees, is equal to the opposite leg, 12, over the adjacent leg. So now use your calculator and do the tangent of 41 degrees. So that's going to be 0.8693 is equal to 12 over x. So how do we solve for x? Well, first of all, it's in the denominator, so we need to remove it from the denominator. So this is 0.8693 x equals 12. So we're going to take, to solve for x, we have to divide off the 0.8693. All right, so x is equal to 12 divided by 0.8693. And we get 13.8. All right, now here's the angle. So that's the corner that we're starting from. So we take the tangent of 27 equals the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. Now x is not in the denominator, so this is easy to solve for. We'll multiply by 15. So what is the tangent of 27? The tangent of 27 degrees, so 15 times 0.5095, and that equals x. So times 15 gives me 7.64. If we round to tenths for x, that's 7.6. We use 4 decimal places when we do the trig functions of degrees. But then when we're solving other things, we can go to the tenths when we're done. All right, number 7, same thing. This is where we're starting from. So the tangent of 58 is equal to the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. Again, you have your variable in your denominator, so you need to multiply it to get it out. So that's, and then tangent of 58 on your calculator. So this is going to be 1.6003x equals 22. Now to get x by itself, we divide off the 1.6003, and x equals 22 divided by, that'd be 13.7. Again, that's where we're starting on number 8, so tangent of 37. Let's just go ahead and do that right now. Tangent of 37 on the calculator is 0.7536. Equals the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. So to get tangent by itself, or excuse me, the x by itself, you got to get it out of the denominator. And then you're going to have to divide off that tangent. Oops, 536. X equals 6 divided by 0.7536. And that's going to be 7.96 or 8. We say approximately 8.0. That way we know it was rounded. Next. All right, so first of all, let's just see what they're doing. Describe the error in the statement of the tangent ratio. Correct the error if possible. So they use tangent of d, so we're using d, so let's just go ahead and do tangent of d. That's the opposite leg. Cross out the hypotenuse. We don't need it. Opposite leg is 35. The adjacent leg is 12. What they do? They use the hypotenuse. So that's what they did wrong. All right. Again, they're using tangent of 55, so they're at angle C. So the tangent 55, let's go ahead and do the problem, is equal to the opposite leg, 18, over the adjacent leg, 11. Okay. Okay, so they have this correct, except, so there must be something wrong. So if we look at 30 degrees and 55 degrees, that makes up 85 degrees, which means angle B must be 95 degrees, not a right angle. And so SOHCAHTOA and tangent only works if you have a right angle. So there's no right angle in problem number 10. So this cannot be done at all. Use a special right triangle. Notice it has to be a right triangle to find the tangent of the given angle measure. So if we're using 45 degrees here, it has to, the other one has to be 90 degrees. And we already know that this has to be 45 as well from the last lesson. So if we say this is angle A, let's see here. So what we learned from 45, 45, 90 is the hypotenuse is equal to the leg times the square root of 2. All right, there's the hypotenuse. We call this the leg and leg here. All right, so the tangent of 45 degrees is equal to the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. Ah, look at that. So the tangent of 45 degrees must be 1. If you put that in your calculator, you'll see that that's true. All you do is take tangent 45, and it comes up as 1. All right, now 30, we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. The hypotenuse is twice the short leg. That's your long leg, right? Hypotenuse is twice the short leg. Long leg is the short leg times the square root of 3. Okay, so let's do the tangent of 30. And we get the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. Okay, so if we solve for S, the short leg we multiply by L, right? So the long leg times the tangent of 30 is equal to S. And we know the formula, the long leg equals the short leg times the square root of 3. So we have the long leg equals the short leg, which is this information right here, long leg tangent of 30 times the square root of 30. Okay, so if we divide both sides by L, that's 1. Tangent of 30 is here, times the square root of 3. We divide off the square root of 3. Okay, and now we have 1 over the square root of 3 is equal to the tangent of 30. You can't leave it like this because it has a denominator of a radical, so we must rationalize it. And you get the square root of 3 over 3. So 1 over the square root of 3. So if you put this in your calculator as the tangent, let's first do this. Let's do 1 divided by the square root of 3. That gives you, okay, 0.57735. And what is the tangent of 30? If you put that in your calculator, you should get the exact same thing. All right, so this all works to figure out what these values are. We don't even know what tangent, sine, and cosine mean, but we're understanding that it is about directions around a 90-degree triangle. Let's move on. All right, modeling real life. If you measure your distance from the base of the Washington Monument, and the angle of elevation is 78 degrees, find the height h of the Washington Monument. So we know we're 118 feet away. It is a right angle. So let's draw this out here. 78 degrees. This is 118. We don't know. Let's not use h. Let's use y. I like to use h for height or hypotenuse, but let's just use y here. So here's the angle we're starting at. So the tangent of 78 degrees is equal to the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. So we multiply by 118 times the tangent of 78. So 78, I get the tangent of 78. So 118 times 4.7046. And what do we get? That is 555.1 feet tall. That's pretty high for a monument. Scientists can measure the depth of craters on the moon by looking at photos of shadows. Estimate the depth D of the crater. So we have the sun rays, which we know what angle they're going in at, 55 degrees. Right, so these are parallel lines here, cut by a transversal. So these two angles are the same. All right, so that's how they get the 55 degrees. And they get this length here, 500, and then they can do the depth. Okay, so now we have the tangent of 55 degrees equal to the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. And so now we can multiply both sides by 500. And you take 55, take the tangent of 55, 1.42814. And multiply that by 500. and we get 714.1 feet. No, meters, sorry. Meters. That's a pretty deep crater. Find the tangent of the smaller acute angle in a right triangle with these side legs. All right, so let's just draw a right triangle, not necessarily 45, 45, 90. One long, one short. Okay, let's make that a little bit better. Okay, let's do this. So this is 5, this is 12, and the long side has to be the hypotenuse, so 13 there. So we want the acute angles, so we'll label these A and B. Let's do angle A first. So the tangent of A is equal to the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. So again, we don't need the hypotenuse. And so what is that? So 5 divided by 12 on your calculator. So that angle is going to be, the tangent of that angle is 0.4167. So 0.4167, all right? That's the tangent of A. And now the tangent of B is equal to the opposite leg, 12, over the adjacent leg. So the tangent of B is equal to 12 divided by 5 on your calculator. So 2.4. But it did say to find the tangent of the smaller of the acute angles. So this is actually what it was looking for. Now number 16. Find the tangent of the larger acute angle in a 3, 4, 5. All right, so 3, 4, 5. Again, we don't need the hypotenuse. So the larger angle is across from the larger side. So that's the angle. We'll say angle A again. So tangent A is equal to the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. So 4 divided by 3 is going to be approximately 1.3333. All right, last one. Your family room has a sliding glass door. You want to buy an awning for the door that will be just long enough to keep the sun out when it is at its highest point in the sky. Your friend claims you can determine how far the overhang should extend by multiplying 8 by the tangent of 70 degrees. Okay, is your friend correct? Well, let's find out. So we have the sun's rays, whoops. We have the height of your doors, 8 feet. And the sun rays is 70 degrees here, okay? So what's this angle right here? Or you could just extend the other side and do this as 8. So if that's 70, you do the tangent of 70. That equals the opposite leg over the adjacent leg, which is also how far the awning has to come out, x. So if we multiply both sides by x to get out of the denominator, then we have x times the tangent of 70 equals 8, and then we divide off the tangent of 70, whatever that is, and that's what x equals. So we're not multiplying the tangent of 70 by 8, we're dividing 8 by the tangent of 70. All right, so the friend is incorrect. And here are your answers. And we didn't do number 17. So 1 through 16 and number 18. So good job.